If you're looking for the one fragrance that you can wear every single day, this would probably be like top 5. If you can't afford this, you found the right video. It's time for a Clone War.
Here's some codes to save you some cash on your next Middle Eastern, niche, or designer fragrances.
What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today's another episode in the Clone War series. Make sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button because we're gonna get right into it. We've got about 6 fragrances here. Generally speaking, I try to keep it to like a 5 of the best, but these were like the only 6 that I have that at least made it to like the top in the rankings. There might be other inspired by clones, which all of these are of this fragrance as well, but these are the ones we're gonna stick with. So YSL Y EDP I think is a great fragrance. To this day, I still recommend it. I would still recommend it if you can afford it and you like this DNA. You should ultimately try and get this. There's not going to be anything that's 100% of anything else, right? So what you get with this is an all-day lasting, fresh, bubblegummy, sweet, shower gel style fragrance, and all of these give you something close to that. I would call these clones, and some of which even get up to 90%. So let's go ahead and get things started with one of the cheaper ones, which also doesn't get that close. This is by Latafa and it's called Melek At-Tuyur. Melek At-Tuyur smells a lot more so like something in between the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum concentration version. So it's not really going to be as like sweet and raunchy in that sweetness as well. The sage in this one seems a little bit less or lighter, and the green apple seems to shine a little bit more, placing it in between something of the original while maybe having some hints of this one. I will say though that this one doesn't really smell the most expensive. It still smells good, and I mean, considering the price, it still smells really good actually. So what you get with this is something that still plays in this vein, a little less sweet and a bit more herbal. So that's pretty much it. The whole herbal vibe of it is slightly cheaper as well. Performance for this one, I would say, is a solid 6 to 7 hours, and if you spray it on clothing, you might even get 8. Not bad. Occasions and seasons for all of these fragrances, we're just gonna mention it right now because it's gonna work for all of these. It's everywhere, every place, every time, every season. That's it. Simple as that. This DNA is one that's extremely versatile, and that's why I recommend YSL Y EDP, even considering all of these clones. So for the price for this one, it's actually right where I would expect it. I'm not gonna say it gives you better than what you pay for, but it gives you what you pay for and maybe just a little bit more than that. But that's pretty much it. It's called Melek At-Tuyur, and it definitely is one of the most detached. Moving into the next one, this is also a little bit more detached, and it's called Qahir by Al-Wataniya. Qahir by Al-Wataniya smells better in terms of the quality than this fragrance in itself, and it still has a bit more sweetness, getting much closer to something of Y EDP as well. I was and would be happier with this one in comparison to Melek At-Tuyur. Goes more towards the sage nature of things. It gets a bit denser and more ambery. The amber woods, it starts to actually develop in this fragrance as well. But the herb still is more enhanced in this one as well. So the herb, the sage, very specifically the sage, it'll give you that tea vibe, and it's more pronounced in this one than a lot of these other clones and the original in itself. Still, for what you're paying, it's not bad. For the performance, I would say above average. So anywhere between 6 to 10 hours, mostly gonna give you 8 hours. And the projection of this one, it's like moderate for an hour, and that's pretty much it. The rest is gonna be a skin scent or a skin bubble. The occasions, as we already mentioned, for the price, this one's around $30, $35. I think that you're getting what you pay for with this fragrance. It does smell like a bit more of a premium than Melek At-Tuyur, but that's pretty much it for that one. Definitely in the appropriate place in terms of the listings because of the fact that some of these other ones actually get much closer. Next one on this list is going to be F by Fragrance World. I believe that this one is going to be closer to the Y EDT, but the quality starts to really increase and get a little bit better and closer even to the EDP version. So now we're starting to cook with a little bit of gas, if you will. It has that same, green apple, crisp, aromatic sage, maybe not as ambery, still detached from this Y EDP DNA, but this is a video about all of them that gets relatively close. I would start to say that we're trending now into like 80% territory, whereas before you might be getting close to 80%. So a solid 80% territory. The performance for this one, I would say, is about 7 hours. The projection is moderate as well, 2 to 3 feet. The 7 hours placing it at still above average performance. For the price, around 30 bucks, you're starting to cook with something that has more of like a designer quality with the F fragrance, and that's pretty much it for that one. Moving on to something that gets even closer. Now we're actually knocking on the door of 85%. Okay, this is called Fakhr Black by Latafa. This has a lot more amber wood, so that sweet nature of the fragrance is starting to really increase. You're going to really start to remember this DNA a lot more so. So 85% as close. Shower jelly, sweet, aromatic, attention grabbing, definitely gets some compliments. The performance of this one, I would say, is like a solid, it's above average, so a solid 8 to 10 hours. And the projection of this little rocket is actually pretty good. I'm gonna call it moderate, but on the high end. The moderate is 2 to 3 feet. feet, so about 3 feet for about an hour and a half, which is not bad. For the price, this is still something that opens up pretty synthetic. There is that alcoholic opening. As it starts to dry down, I think that this is one of the top ones to be, getting into if you like this DNA. All things considered, for around, honestly, sometimes even less than 25 bucks, I still think it's worth it, and it's a great one nevertheless. We're down to the last two that smell damn near designer, okay? They smell damn near designer, and these are absolutely the closest ones in my opinion, okay? I personally like twists overall, but if I wanted something the closest to these, we're now knocking at about 85-90% with Armaf Odyssey Mega. So, okay, there might be some Armaf fragrances that opens up a little bit more alcoholic, etc. This one potentially has that alcoholic opening, but the DNA of this one, after like maybe 20 seconds, it's like damn near designer. And this is one that I slept on for quite some time. The Mega C series, or the Odyssey series, has a lot of these different style fragrances. They've got this one, they've got the Mandarin Sky, which smells like Scandal, etc. But this one has all of those amber woods, the sage, the aromatics, the freshness, the apple. It's all there. It's all there as long as you can get past the first 20 seconds. In terms of the performance, this is also something that's going to be above average, but I found that I did have to spray this one on a lot. And most of the reason is going to be because of the atomizers. Absolutely.
Bruh.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to spray this one on at least 10 times. And when you spray it on about 10 times, you're gonna get a solid, like, above average, obviously, 8 to 10 hours. And the projection for this one is actually also on the moderate high end of the spectrum. So about 3 feet for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. I mean, smelling that in the air is something really good. Like, I can smell the amber woods, the sage, it's cutting through the air. It's got like this clean, almost crystallized sugar style vibe sweetness to it as well. I give this about 90% close. It's that close after it starts to dry down, and that's pretty much it. For the price, this one goes anywhere from like $35 to $50. It's a very good option. It's actually a very, very good option. All things considered, the slight alcoholic opening and that atomizer is the downside of it. It definitely is deserving of being on this place. At number one spot, I find this to be the best in terms of value, in terms of scent profile, in terms of everything. This is called Sheikh Al Shioukh Final Edition by Lattafa, or just Lattafa Final Edition. It'll make it easier. So this one in the opening is not necessarily the closest, but what it is close to is the mid to dry down of Y EDP. So the opening of the fragrance is not as crisp apple. It doesn't have that same sparkle nature, but it's almost 90 to 95% close to the mid and dry down. So this one pretty much summarizes the mid to dry down of Y EDP, but if you really want that attention grabbing crisp apple in the beginning, you're probably better off with the Mega. In terms of the performance for this one, I get a solid 8 to 10 hours as well, especially on clothing, so that's above average. I wouldn't necessarily call it beastly, and the projection is going to be on the low end side of the moderate because it doesn't necessarily have any of those crisp cutting edge factors like that green apple. So for the price, it actually is the reason why it's up this high. But truth be told, if you ask me my preference, this is the one that I'm going with. The opening is everything that I love about Y EDP, and it's the opening that I relive over and over and over with this original DNA. If you're looking for attention grabbing crisp factors and you're okay with the first 20 seconds being a little bit, alcoholic, then Armaf Odyssey Mega would be the one to go with. I think overall, this is gonna get you the most compliments, and I think that for the price, everything considered, this would be like, they're both on the top for a reason, man. Long story short, both of these are the best ones. If you asked me which one to pick, I'd say Odyssey Mega. So I guess in that sense, Clone War winner, Odyssey Mega, Armaf's Odyssey Mega. It's just better. It's just better. The opening, the top, the crisp apple, it definitely is. It's what I love about Y EDP. So it's up to you. If you want the mid to dry down, there you go. You want everything else? There you go. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I hope this helped in any way. And if it did, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.